Hey, what's up? So today I'm reviewing the Fucare Gemini electric bike. Now this bike costs $18.99 and you can see it has one of the most unique designs in the electric bike marketplace right now. So it is an aluminum frame and it's basically kind of see-through, right? So it reminds me of that like spiderweb bike that they built on American Chopper, that TV show a long time ago. But yeah, I'm really liking the way this thing looks. It does come in one single color, this graphite gray color. And again, with that see-through design, you can see all the different components like the dual batteries, which we'll talk about more here in a second. And this whole thing with this bike really gives it a futuristic type of look. And this bike does come standard with front and rear fenders to keep you protected in the mud and rain and all that good stuff. And it also does come with a rear rack standard. Now this rear rack can support up to 110 pounds, which is pretty impressive. But what's even more impressive is that the bike in total can support up to 400 pounds. So if you do the math with that rear rack, basically a rider that comes in at 290 pounds, you'll still be able to ride this bike with no problem. And that's really impressive. Just when you look at the frame, you might not think that it's, going to be able to support that much weight because it is kind of see-through. But yeah, this thing is going to be a beast for carrying weight. And then the bike itself does weigh 79.4 pounds, which is on the heavy side. It's not the heaviest e-bike that I've reviewed recently, but still it is going to be a little bit heavy. But I do like the fact that you do have multiple places where you can actually grab this frame and pick it up like so to be able to move it around, so because of this spider web design with it. So yeah, heavy bike, but still not the heaviest out there. Now this bike is also rated IPX5 for its water resistance rating, and this is a step through design, as you can see. So I can step through here and easily get on and off of this bike, which is nice. And then they also do sell a regular version of this bike, which is called the Gemini X. It's practically the same thing, but it's not a step through design, so you do have a bar going down in the middle. And then the company says this bike does support a rider between 5'3" and 6'3". So with that added weight capacity and also this really nice range as far as height, this bike is going to be made for a lot of people. Now there is something about this bike that you don't see that often at this price range, and that is a dual battery design. So you have a battery up here on the front and one also in the rear underneath the seat. Now each battery comes in at 48 volts and is rated at 10.4 amp hours, and you get 998.4 watt hours in total combined. But if you want an even bigger battery and more range, the company does sell an optional 15 amp hour battery that comes in at 720 watt hours, and that's available for $599. So if you get two of those bad boys, you can be looking at some really good range. And I'm gonna cover the range that I was able to get on this bike in my range and speed test coming up here in a little bit. Now each battery comes with its own individual key, and you just need to put the key in, unlock it, take the key back out, and now you'll be able to slide the batteries up and out of the frame of the bike. I would say the battery that lives underneath the seat, it did take me a couple of seconds to get it lined up properly when I went to put it back in, but other than that, taking the batteries in and out was really smooth. Now this bike also comes with two individual fast chargers, and it'll take you around 4 to 6 hours to get these batteries charged all the way up. Now on the front of this bike, the bike is already set up to be able to take a basket if you want to add one, and the company does sell front and rear baskets on their website, so you can add one to the rack and then of course add one to the front if you want. All right, so up on the handlebars, you will find some decent grips. My one gripe about the grip will be that the part that is going to be able to support kind of the palm of your hand, it's a little small. I would love to see that extended out a little bit, but for the most part, the grips are fine. And on the right-hand side, you will find the thumb throttle, which is nice. And also you will find the controls for the Shimano 7-speed shifter that you have on here that works really well. And then on the left-hand side, you will find a bell. And then also you will find the controls for the very big display that you have on this bike. And so the screen comes in at 5.3 inches, and it is a color LCD display, and it has very cool, lively animations when you do start the bike, and it gives you a lot of information as far as your odometer, your speed, and different information as far as like when you do turn on the integrated headlight. And something else I'm really liking are the controls for this screen that live on the left-hand side of the handlebars. So I like how everything is marked very clearly. You have a dedicated button to turn on the integrated headlight, which is decent, by the way. Then also you have plus and minus buttons to be able to go in between the up to 5 levels of pedal assist. Then also you have a nice little information or the I button there to be able to rotate between your odometer and your speed and distance and stuff like that. And then if you hold down the minus button, that will activate the walking mode. So when you have that activated, you can kind of push the bike along you very easily because the motor kicks in just a little bit to help you out. Now, my only gripe about this big screen is the fact that it is big and it does take up a decent amount of real estate here on your handlebars. So if you do like to add a lot of different attachments like smartphone phone mounts and stuff, you might find it to be a little bit cramped, but you can always move the screen over to the right a little bit, and that will free up some space to allow you to add some more things. Oh, and this bike also does come with hydraulic disc brakes, so it has some really good stopping power. Every time I needed to get to a stop in a hurry, it did a great job. And this also does have a brake light on the back as well, so when you do press down on the brakes, it will go ahead and light up to be able to notify people behind you. Now, this bike does come with a 750 watt rear hub motor that peaks out at 960 watts, so that's definitely enough power for most hills that people will be riding. And when you put that in combination with pedal assist, you'll be able to get up a lot of different terrains really easily with this bike. But right now, let's go ahead and switch over to my speed test. All right, so now for my speed test. So I will tell you that this isn't stock. I did go into the settings and adjusted the speed limiter and also the voltage. It is very easy to do that. The company has a video on their YouTube channel showing you how to do it. But anyway, we're gonna do this first test using the throttle only. And so let's get this thing going in 3, 2, 1, boom. All right, so just like every video, I have to tell you my weight, which I'm about 220 pounds, a little bit overweight, but anyway, on my bike's display, we're at 17 miles per hour on the GPS app on my phone. We're just now hitting 17. Now on the bike's display, we're at 22. GPS app is showing 20. And so it's about a 2 mile per hour difference between the two. And we're at 25 miles per hour on the bike's display. We're at 23 on the GPS app, 26, 27 on the bike display, 25 on the GPS app, 28 on the bike's display, a little bump there, 29 on the bike's display, and we're at 27 on the GPS app. Can we get 30? Can we get 30? Yep, we hit 30 for a little bit there on the bike's display, and we're at 28, 29 on the GPS app. So let me go ahead and test out the braking. All right, so a little bit of squeaking there going on with the front brake there. But yeah, if you're going off of the bike's display, we hit 30 miles per hour with just using the throttle only. So now let's test it with pedal assist. All right, so I set it to pedal assist level 5, and let's get this thing going in 3, 2, 1, boom. All right, here we go. Get a little bit of a workout in today. 15, 16, 17 miles per hour, 20 miles per hour on the bike's display. GPS is showing 19. 25 miles per hour on the bike's display. Let me pick it up a little bit. A little bit of a bump there. We're at 27 on the bike display, 24 on the GPS app, 28 on the bike, 29 on the bike. Another little bump. All right. 29 on the bike's display. Can we get 30? I'm pumping. Yeah, we hit 30. All right. Let me test out the brakes here. Okay. Oh, almost fell over there. So anyway, you can see that the pedal assist and also the throttle test are very similar to each other. And so I do wish I was able to hit maybe 32 miles per hour on this bike, but 30 is going to be plenty. Now, as far as the range, the website says this bike should be rated to get you between 60 and 80 miles. But in my test, I didn't do like a full-on throttle test this time, but I've been using it for using a decent amount of throttle and also pedal assist like level 3 at least. And I was able to get 20 miles before I lost 2 out of the 5 bars of the battery. So with that combination of pedal assist and throttle, I can expect to get maybe around 45 miles, maybe 50 miles of range. But if I did want to extend that range, I can always just use pedal assist and drop that down to maybe pedal assist level 2 or maybe even level 3. And you can definitely see that range go up into the 60, maybe low 70 miles that you can get from the battery. But no matter what, if you are conservative, you should have a pretty good amount of range that you can get out of this dual battery setup. All right, so now let me tell you how it is to ride this bad boy. And this is one of my favorite everyday e-bikes at the moment because it is a very comfortable ride. And that's pretty impressive because it only has a front suspension and no rear suspension. But this is one of the best front suspension that I've used on an e-bike. It does definitely take a lot of that oomph out of any type of speed bumps or potholes in the road. And this front suspension does support preload and lockout, so you can lock it out to make it really stiff, and that's great for getting the maximum amount of speed on kind of flat paved land. And then also if you just want to get something that's going to be a little bit more comfortable for those bumps and things, you can go ahead and just unlock it, and that will add that cushion effect to the suspension. And look, I don't know the exact model number of the suspension that they are using. I'm not that technical of an e-bike person, but it is really good and fine-tuned right out of the box. Now, because it doesn't have a rear suspension system, it needs to have a comfortable seat, which it does. And the seat that they went with is an air sprung seat, and it's super comfortable. decent amount of cushion inside of it, and also it's not super skinny. It has a decent amount of width too as well for my big butt people like me. And it does feel like it does have like some shock absorbers on the bottom too. So it's definitely not going to give you that same type of feeling of like a suspension seat post that I would recommend putting on this bike to make up for this bike not having a rear suspension system. But overall, with this really awesome front suspension, I found the ride to be very smooth and comfortable. And this bike isn't kind of like marketed to go off-road, but you can go off-road with this thing because that front suspension will definitely help you out. And then also you do get 20 by 4-inch fat tires on this bike. Now the treading on this bike, again, it's not going to be the best for like mud and slippery situations like that and a lot of loose gravel and stuff, but I did find myself going out in like grass and stuff, and I found the ride to be really good enough. So you can go off-road with this thing, but it's really going to shine on the streets and also paved bike paths. Okay, so look, as I mentioned earlier, this is one of my favorite everyday e-bikes to ride because it has all of the basics covered. I think for $18.99, you're getting a lot of bike here with a dual battery design. You have the speed to get up to 32 miles per hour if you do unlock it, but 28 miles per hour will be just fine for most people, and that is the legal class 3 speed as well, just so you know. And the only thing that I can see that would make this bike even more close to being perfect will be adding that rear suspension system in the back. If they do that, even at an additional cost, I think this bike will definitely make a lot of other bike makers a little bit on edge, because what they're giving you for under $2,000 right now is a really solid deal. And then one of the questions I do get a lot is about like how much can a bike handle as far as weight. And with this bike being able to support up to 400 pounds and again up to 6'3" as far as a rider height, this is definitely something that is made for a lot of people out there. I was about to say everyone, not just everyone, but for a lot of people out there if you are worried about those two things. But anyway, I'll leave a link down below to this Fucare Gemini bike in the description of this video. Drop a comment down below and let me know what you think about this electric bike. Is this going to be the one that you pick up for yourself? Let me know either way. And also be sure to hit that like button if you did like this video. I will appreciate that. And also subscribe and hit that notification bell if you want to. But like always, I do want to thank you for watching this video, and I will catch you later. Peace.